When you come into your studio or you go to your painting table to do some painting, you never know what's going to happen, do you? Today, I feel like doing a bit of a warm-up, and yesterday I painted this. And I did that without the camera, so I didn't have any record of it. But I'm going to try and do something similar again. It looks quite complicated, but actually this is really a very good warm-up experience. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put out some paints, and the colours that I used tube paints. So I'm going into my tube. There's a reason for this. I'm going into my tube set, and I'm going to pick out the colours that I used for that painting, because why not? And those were burnt sienna. This is a Daler Rowney burnt sienna, and I don't think there's anything wrong with Daler Rowney. Those people who are English out there and have access to Daler Rowney paints, heartily recommend them. They're much less expensive than Daniel Smith. But if you are American, then Daniel Smith is probably your way to go. Lucky you. I'm trying to find quinacridone gold now, and I know I've got some here. It's a Daniel Smith colour. I do have that in Daniel Smith. Where are you? Oh, I know where he is. He's right here in front of my face. There we are. Daniel Smith quinacridone gold. So I'm going to pop some of that there. Looks like I need a new tube. Yeah, definitely. Time to order some new quinacridone gold. One of my favourite quinacridone golds is Winsor & Newton. That is also burnt sienna, so that can go there. That was a Schminker one. Then I want some phthalo blue, and I'm going to pop that down this end, because phthalo blue and quinacridone gold make a very nice green. And what else? And I want black. Black. Black is black. I want my baby back. There we go. Grey is grey. Since she went away. Oh. That's a song, isn't it? Right, I'll get the blue off my hands. Right, that will do. That's a good start. And this is going to be for the background of this painting here that I am going to attempt. And I'm going to do a wash on the background of this. This is a piece of Meaden watercolor paper, 100% cotton. We have a giveaway at the moment going on. If you enter by purchasing something from their website, use the link in the description below, get your 10% off with using Diane 10, and you'll be entered in a giveaway, and that will be vouchers and paper and one or two big prizes which Meaden are kindly offering. So no reason not to. It's very good paper, surprisingly good. And I'm going to use my MOP brush here for this this thingy whatnot that I'm going to do. This is going to be available soon from Craftamo. It's part of our set of 5 or 6 paint brushes. These ones here, which are going to be available. If you go to craftamo.com and look for Diane Antone brushes, you can put your name down to be informed when they're available. They're going to be available on, I think, the 1st of November, and we'll be going live when they become available for purchase. They're going to be $59 for the set. I know this now, they've just told me. $59 for the set of 6. It comes in a nice packaged box with a free print inside of one of my paintings of poppies. And you'll be supporting us, and you'll be doing yourself a favour if you get yourself some of these for Christmas. I chose these brushes myself. I designed them myself, and the idea of this was to give you the opportunity for a very good price to have some of these larger brushes. This is a cat's tongue. It's quite a big one. This is a lovely 1-inch wash for skies and things like that. This is a mop brush, and I'll show you how I'm going to use that in a minute. Has many uses. And then we've got a couple of rounds and a rigger. So I'm going to be showing these. I'll be, demonstrating these over the next few weeks so that you get the idea as to how they can and could be used. And today we're going to start with this one. So, what am I thinking? I'm going to wet my brush and activate some of this, and it looks like nothing on earth, doesn't it, when it's dry? But this colour is actually lovely. And we're just going to brush this in using the mop brush very loosely. And this is very nice paper to do this on. And we're going to just go down and mix in whatever colour happens to occur. What's occurring? I don't know what's occurring. Just mix things in as you go down the page. And you can mix a bit of black in, which will give you a nice brown, beautiful brown actually. And this is so freeing because you're not trying to produce anything particular apart from just nice colours. And you don't need to be precious about it. You don't need to take 25 years to put 2 inches of paint on the board, on the paper. Just go for it. Just relax and go for it. Okay, and if you put a reasonable amount of black in with the blue and then a dab of yellow, you'll get a fantastic dark. So by the time you get down to the bottom here, so I've gone from light to dark. And then what I normally do is I come back up and I'll drop in some of the darks into various places, just whatever takes my fancy. So like that. And then, having done that, I let it dry and come back in with some more streaks. You can pick it up if you want and encourage it to go from side to side, but it's probably no real need to do that unless you particularly want to. That is just, I enjoy doing that. It's just great fun. So I'm just going to leave it for a minute or two while it settles and dries out a little bit. I'm not going to wait too long though, because I want to come in with the next layer before it's totally dry. Just a quick slurp of coffee there. And one of the things I'm going to do with this when this background is ready is I'm going to use my gold paints, which is a fine text set. And I don't need all these different colours. So what I'm going to do soon is buy a set of, a bottle of the Kuretake Gold Mica ink or paint or whatever they call it. I don't know if it's ink or paint. I saw somebody using that the other day and I thought, that's what I need. That'd save having to do this every time, because the problem with this is it's fine. It's not very expensive and it's quite nice. I don't have a problem with it, but you do have to remember to sort of activate it before you start trying to use it, because unless you get some water onto this, it won't come on thick enough. You need it to be nice and thick. So I've done that now, so we'll leave that. And then the other thing I'm going to do while I've got my little pipette handy here, this is quite a handy thing. You can get these online as well. Somewhere around here I've got a set of Gansai Tambi. This is another Kuretake, the graphite colours. I always think this looks like nothing on earth. But these colours are really lovely and subtle and really perfect for autumn. So I'm going to wet those as well and let those also activate themselves. Put that to one side. This is another idea I had, and I'm going to try and do this as well later. This is totally not in any way finished. It was just an idea. I used the cat's tongue brush to do these sort of strokes of paint here, like this. I was doing sort of, and this is the graphite colours. So you can see, that was the point in showing you this, you can see that they're quite subtle and really make a very good background for this kind of thing like what we're doing today. And I'll show you this as well. using the cat's tongue for this too, which is, you might not be able to see that that's roses, but it is. And I think that's quite fun. I've got another one that's a little bit more worked up. Hang on a second. That's the same idea, using those same graphite colours to make a really, I would call that winter roses, wouldn't you? You can see the leaves are in that sort of sludgy green colour, and this is the red. And I just put a few lines on there with the white pen. So, yeah, interesting, isn't it? Anyway, I'm just doing this while we wait for this thing to dry. And let's see where we're at now. I think that's probably dry enough. So what I'm going to do next is just take some slightly darker shades and then just run across. And they're just beautiful, aren't they? These colours. And it doesn't matter what you're achieving. You're just going to do some lines. Anything will do. And you can use the point of this brush, although it's a big fat brush, it does come to quite a nice point. So you can do fine lines as well, relatively fine, not as fine obviously as a thin brush, but so you can also make it run a bit in places. Do nice big fat ones. This is good practice for colour blending, just playing, having fun, relaxing, no pressure. Because we're going to paint over the top of it anyway, so it doesn't matter what happens. And you can, if you want to, at this point, you could do some circles, you know, some spirals, things like this, but I'm not going to do that. I'll save that for later. So I'm going to leave that like that to dry now, and then we'll come back in a minute and do the next thing. So while this is still wet, I've just had an idea, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to dab over the whole thing with paper towel while it's still wet to create a different texture. Now this is a new thing to try. It's a bit like stenciling or whatever, because you're giving a texture to your paint, making it look a little bit more vintage or something like that. Also speeds up the drying process too, so there is that. But I think that makes an interesting effect, and I don't know, suddenly just thought of doing that. Never done that before, so we'll do that. And if you wanted to, you could of course pick up some paint and you could stamp on it with, say for example, black, to emphasize some of the areas where you've got black. You could do that. You could pick up some brown and blue mixed, makes a darker brown. Let's see what we get there, some sort of green. I would call this experimentation. I think I would call it that. It's Saturday, it's a day off, and I'm painting for the heck of it. Yeah, that's quite interesting. Okay, so there we are, there's that. And so that kind of actually is useful for me because it gives me a bit more of a flow situation going on there. So I can sort of see I might want to put some plant material across there. Let me think. I just want to mention briefly our sponsor for today's video, which is Skillshare. Skillshare is a wonderful online learning resource with tens of thousands of video courses available for members to enjoy unlimited access to. You don't pay for each course you follow, you just pay a monthly subscription. If you join Skillshare using the link in the description below, you'll get a month's free trial so you can explore the range of videos available at no cost. I love using Skillshare because whenever I feel the need for a bit of extra information or inspiration about something, I can find what I'm looking for on there, and I know that the video classes they offer are going to be of a high standard, with no adverts in them, and that I can trust them to help me with whatever I want to learn. This month I've been looking at classes by Denise, who is also on YouTube, and you might have seen her channel. This class, called Creative Collage, is typical of her work and full of fascinating ideas for your art journey. Denise has almost 100 great classes on Skillshare, and it's worth signing up for a trial at least to explore what she has to offer. She's great at showing you how to create your own artwork of an abstract nature using watercolor, stencils, collage, and lots more. There are new classes added to the Skillshare catalogue each week, and they cover every possible interest and skill, from cooking to computer programming, from knitting to accounting, you name it, Skillshare has it. So why not take advantage of the month's free membership and explore to find out whether it's something you might enjoy. Just follow the link in the description below. The first 1,000 people to sign up can benefit from this offer. And now back to the painting we're doing today. So one of the things I quite like to do is drawing with a dip pen. This is a speedball dip pen here. You can get them really inexpensively on Amazon or wherever. And so I'm going to, I hope this is clean enough to serve my purposes. Let me just give it a quick wipe with a tissue here. Hopefully it's okay. And I've got some ink here, which is Sennelier. And this one is sepia, so that's a dark brown colour. They come in a set of, I think there are 4 in a box, different colours: sanguine, sepia, walnut, stain, and one other one which I can't remember the name of at the moment. So that's nice to have, and if you like drawing with a dip pen, that's something you can do. I have no idea what's going to happen here, but I have got the idea of bringing in a branch coming down from the top. So we're thinking autumn here. And thinking, why isn't my pen working very well? But no doubt it will eventually decide to give me some ink. So we'll just bring that down here. You don't want to be too, picky about whether or not the ink flows, because it probably won't. But if you press reasonably hard, something will happen for sure. I don't know why, it seems to work better if I hold it more upright. It must be the way it's meant to be. And that's something I should try to remember not to do. If you lift your pen up suddenly, it will occasionally give you a nice big blob of ink which you didn't want. But we say, well, yes, we wanted that anyway, so it adds character. I can suck that up with my pipette, which gets rid of most of it. And just wipe the rest of it away. I'm really liking the background that we created here. I'm going to swap to a different pen and see whether this one works any better, because that one is actually not giving me the effect I want. Which is basically for ink to flow. I don't ask for much from my pens. This is better. It doesn't matter about the blobs because, you know, we're always going to go over what we did, probably with some gold. So the blobs are just character. Okay, so that's quite nice. And then I'm going to bring one up from this side. We're going to take it up and going to take off a few smaller branches. Maybe a little side one here. And then I think it would be quite nice to do more rounded. And I'm not going to say round, not perfectly round. So we'll just start with sort of round and make several of them like that. Join them on. And these can be coloured in a minute. Part of the fun of the whole process is dealing with the unexpected accidents and incidents. Okay, I'm just thinking, it's hard to talk and think at the same time. You know, the brain doesn't do that very well. And I'm just thinking about whether to, what to colour these in with. So, and we could put sort of small circles in certain places. I was looking at somebody else's work the other day and she had put dots and things on and she said, oh, I think I might have overdone it. I don't know how you judge that. That's the thing. You just kind of have to go with the flow, don't you? I don't know if these want to have lines on. They might do. Are you asking for lines? You might be. Some of you might be. And then I'm just going to rinse my pen rather, and I think this is the point at which I might say, let's go into the gold. And I need a brush, but it doesn't want to be too big of a one. Let me see, what have I got here? Not that one. That's a size 3. Is that going to be too small? Depends what I'm going to do, I suppose. What am I going to do? I think probably some gold dots. And they always show up best if you put them on top of the darker areas, which is one of the reasons why these sort of stamped areas were quite a good idea in a way. But we don't want to cover them all up, so we just put them. And maybe some of these circles could be gold. What do you think? I think that could be nice. We could sort of pretend that when they're young, these circles are gold, and then as they get older, they get lines on them. So when they're small, they're golden. We could do that. Or we could just paint quite a lot. We could paint them with golden lines on them, I suppose, or half of them, sort of like part way round. Like that. It's really a case of the overall impression, isn't it? Don't want to do them all the same. And then I think with these leaves we could put some quinacridone gold. That's not real gold, that's just quinacridone gold from our palette. We could put some of that on to make these a little bit more autumnal. Make them stand out a bit more. So then the veins from underneath will sort of glow through the autumn colour, hopefully. Quinacridone gold is definitely a very good autumn colour. And a bit of burnt sienna in there too would be a good idea, I think. Burnt sienna, quinacridone gold, autumn's friends. Burnt sienna is a very traditional colour. It's in most palettes. Quinacridone gold, not so much. But it's not real quinacridone gold, actually. I think probably everybody's heard the story about how quinacridone gold was invented by car manufacturers years ago. And when they stopped making coloured cars, they eventually stopped making the pure quinacridone gold pigment for the paint. So because artists are not a significant market as far as the big manufacturers of pigments go, they decided to discontinue it because nobody wanted to buy bright yellow cars anymore. So we had to learn to live without it. So I think I'm going to put a little bit of green, and this is black with quinacridone gold. Just going to put a little bit of green into these circles here. So we haven't used any green, any pure green. We haven't used any green. We've only used the green that you get when you mix black, a little bit of phthalo blue and quinacridone gold to give us a sort of greenish colour. So we're just making these circles a little bit more solid. We might want a few more, possibly, I don't know. Black, quinacridone gold, a little bit of blue. It's a pretty strong green. And I don't know if we need any more gold. I should put in a few spirals, I think, because somehow they do add a certain amount of movement. But probably not too much. I think maybe we'll have one up here that's going off the page. Like that. And maybe some little dabs of gold on the autumn leaves. Because that's what you would find if you were in Merlin's forest, wouldn't you? You'd find all the autumn leaves were actually touched with real gold in King Arthur's forest. And actually we are, I think I might have mentioned this before, where I live, we are very, very close to something called King Arthur's Seat, which is one of the traditional places where King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table lived. At a place called Welgwat, not far from here. It's very similar to, in England, they have Avalon and, all of that. We have something here too, because he used to come to France for his holidays, King Arthur. Okay, well, I think this is a little bit of the white gold, I think you probably might want to call it. I don't want to go too far with this. I'm going to see now what it looks like if I put it in the... Oops, good job I put the lid on that, wasn't it? I'll put the frame on there. Let me see what that looks like when that's dry. Back in a tick. So I have put a little mount around this so that I can see more clearly what needs to be done. And that always brings things out into the open a little bit once you've put a mount around it. And I can see that since I put the colour on the leaves, they have somewhat lost their outlines, so that gives me an opportunity to come in again and just darken that down a little bit with a bit more of the sepia ink. And I'm not going to be too careful with the lines. I'm just going to let them go where they want to go because I like the effect of the randomness. And when that's dry, it will look as if it belongs there, I think, I hope. So, yeah. I think probably you can see where this is going, and it was fun to do, and I hope you enjoyed watching and maybe you learned something. I hope so. And doing the background is quite important, first of all, because that gives the whole mood to the whole painting, and just getting something onto the paper without knowing really where it's going to go. And just surprise yourself with what you create, because yours will be completely different from mine. And in fact, the next time I do the same thing, it will be different again. I'm just going to darken these lines a little bit too, because when you look at it from a distance, you won't be able to see the lines very easily. So just the ones in the foreground, I think, probably need a little bit more thickness about them. Bit of variety, spice of life. So there we are. I'll let you go. Have fun having a go with this one, or whatever one you choose to do this weekend, next weekend, whenever. I'm not sure when this video is going up, so I won't give you a date. And yeah, so bye for now, everybody. Bye-bye.